The stars twinkled against the black expanse of space as the Galactic Council ship approached the blue-green planet. The vessel was elegant and sleek, its hull gleaming under the light of the distant sun. Inside, 5 aliens of different species gathered around a viewing screen, their expressions a mix of curiosity and concern. "Approach with caution," said Counselor Zax Trill, his scaled skin reflecting the blue light of the ship's interior. "Initial scans show extreme conditions on the surface." The science officer, a tall being with 4 arms and large eyes, nodded. "The atmosphere contains high levels of oxygen, a corrosive gas to many council species. The gravity is 1.3 times higher than standard. Temperature variations range from 50 to plus 50 degrees in different regions." "And the life forms?" asked Zax Trill. "Abundant and aggressive," replied the science officer. "The dominant species calls themselves humans. They are carbon-based, oxygen-breathing bipeds." The council ship entered orbit around Earth. Below them the planet spun slowly, clouds swirling across continents and oceans. For thousands of years, the Galactic Council had explored the stars, finding and welcoming new civilizations into their alliance. They had a careful system for classifying planets and determining which species were ready for contact. Earth had recently caught their attention when humans began broadcasting radio signals into space. In a small military base outside of Denver, Colorado, Lieutenant Marcus Wright stared at the radar screen in disbelief. "Sir, you need to see this," he called to his commanding officer. "Something just entered Earth orbit. It's not one of ours." Colonel Diane Lawson hurried over, her boots clicking on the concrete floor. She looked at the screen, her face growing pale. "Contact the Pentagon. Now." Hours later, Marcus found himself in a hastily arranged meeting room. Government officials in dark suits rushed back and forth. Scientists huddled around computers, analyzing data. A large screen on the wall showed the alien ship, now visible through powerful telescopes. "They're sending a message," announced a communications specialist. "It's being broadcast on all frequencies." The screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The being had gray-blue skin, large eyes, and spoke in a voice that sounded like music. "People of Earth, we are representatives of the Galactic Council. We come in peace to evaluate your world for potential membership in our alliance." The room fell silent. Then came the rush of voices, questions, fears, and excitement. 3 days later, Marcus stood in a field as the small shuttle descended from the alien ship. He was part of the greeting committee, a mix of military personnel, scientists, and government officials. Dr. Olivia Carter, Earth's leading xenobiologist, stood beside him, her hands clutching her tablet tightly. "This changes everything," she whispered to Marcus. "Everything we thought we knew about life in the universe." The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss. 5 aliens emerged, each different from the others. They wore no protective gear, suggesting they had somehow adapted to Earth's environment for this short visit. The meeting was brief and formal. The aliens asked strange questions about Earth's history, about human biology, about how people survived natural disasters. They seemed particularly interested in Earth's many predators and diseases. Marcus noticed they flinched when someone mentioned humans could recover from broken bones or fight off most infections. "You consume fermented substances and caffeine?" one alien asked, seeming shocked. "For pleasure?" "Well, yes," replied the human diplomat, confused by their reaction. "Wine, beer, their cultural traditions going back thousands of years." The aliens exchanged glances. Something passed between them, a look that Marcus couldn't interpret, but that made him uneasy. "Thank you for your hospitality," said the lead alien, Zax Trill. "We have what we need for our evaluation." They departed as quickly as they had come, promising to return with the Council's decision. Their shuttle lifted off, leaving humans with more questions than answers. Back in their ship, the Council members held an emergency meeting. "It must be classified as a Deathworld," Zax Trill insisted. "Class 12 at minimum. These humans are far more dangerous than they appear. They don't even realize what they are," said another counselor. "They evolved on a planet that should have killed them 1,000 times over. Their bodies can repair damage that would be fatal to any of our species. They consume substances that would poison us. Their immune systems fight off microbes that would cause pandemics among our populations. And they're aggressive, added a third. Their history is filled with warfare. They've survived planetary disasters that should have driven them extinct. Imagine what they would do if they spread to the stars. The decision was unanimous. Earth would be classified as a Class 12 Deathworld, a planet so dangerous that its native species must never be allowed to leave and potentially threaten the galactic community. Only 11 other planets in Council history had received such a classification. None of those species had ever managed to develop space travel. Begin quarantine protocols, ordered Zax Trill. Position the automated defense platforms at the edge of their solar system. No ships in or out. What about the humans? Asked the science officer. Should we inform them of their classification? Zax Trill shook his head. No. That would only motivate them to try to overcome it. Let them think we're still evaluating them. In time, they'll forget about us. On Earth, weeks passed with no word from the Galactic Council. Then months. Government agencies continued to scan the skies, but the alien ship had disappeared. Eventually, most people returned to their normal lives, the brief contact with aliens becoming just another news story. In her lab at the university, Dr. Olivia Carter refused to give up. She studied the small amount of data collected during the alien visit, looking for answers. I don't understand, she told her colleague Alan Spencer as they reviewed sensor readings. They seemed almost afraid of us, but why? We were peaceful, cooperative. Alan shrugged. Maybe they didn't like what they saw. Maybe we're too primitive for their club. No, Olivia said, shaking her head. It was something else. Something about us scared them. What she couldn't know was that high above Earth, beyond the reach of human telescopes, automated weapons platforms were being positioned. Massive orbital cannons and sensor arrays formed a barrier around the entire solar system. Warning beacons were deployed, broadcasting a simple message to any passing ships. Warning: quarantined Class 12 Deathworld. Extremely dangerous indigenous species. Approach prohibited by order of the Galactic Council. The humans of Earth had no idea they had just been imprisoned on their own planet, nor did they realize that their prison was what had made them strong enough to terrify the galaxy's oldest civilizations. 5 years passed since the brief alien visit. Most people on Earth had moved on, but not everyone had forgotten. The world's space agencies had quietly increased their efforts to explore the solar system, driven by the knowledge that humans were not alone in the universe. Navy pilot Samantha Hill guided her spacecraft toward the rust-colored surface of Mars. This was her third mission to the Red Planet, part of humanity's growing push to establish a permanent presence beyond Earth. Base, this is Explorer 2, beginning final approach to landing site Alpha, she reported through her communication system. Copy that, Explorer 2, came the reply from Mission Control. All systems look good from here. Samantha was an experienced pilot with over 1,000 flight hours in space. She had been chosen for this mission because of her calm nature and quick thinking. Those skills would be tested today. As her craft descended toward the landing site, a warning light flashed on her control panel. Base, I'm picking up an unusual reading. There's something metallic about 2 kilometers east of the landing zone. It's not on our charts. Can you get a visual? Asked Mission Control. Samantha adjusted her course slightly. I'll do a flyover before landing. She guided her craft over the location and was shocked by what she saw. Half buried in the red sand was a metallic object clearly not of human design. Its surface was smooth and silver with strange markings along its hull. Base, I think I've found debris from an alien craft, she reported, her voice steady despite her excitement, requesting permission to investigate after landing. 2 hours later, Samantha stood before the alien object in her spacesuit. Up close, it was even more impressive. A probe of some kind, damaged but largely intact. Parts of it appeared to have been designed to collect and analyze samples, but more importantly, it contained what looked like a data storage system. With help from her team, Samantha carefully extracted the alien device and brought it back to their research station. There, They connected it to a specially designed computer system that had been created after the first alien contact, just in case humans ever encountered alien technology again. Computer scientist Kevin Martinez had been working on this system for years. When Samantha's team contacted him with news of their discovery, he flew to Mission Control in Houston immediately. "This is incredible," Kevin said as he examined the alien device. His fingers moved quickly over his keyboard, writing new code to interface with the alien technology. "The architecture is different from anything we use, but there are mathematical principles that seem universal." For days, Kevin worked with little sleep. Gradually, he began to decode the information stored in the alien probe. What he found alarmed him. "It's a surveillance probe," he told Samantha and the project leaders during an emergency meeting. "It was monitoring our solar system. And look at this." He pointed to a translated section of data on his screen. "It's part of a network. There are dozens of these positioned throughout our solar system." NASA Director Elaine Winters frowned. "Why would they need to monitor us so closely?" Kevin pulled up another screen of translated data. "That's not all. These probes are connected to something much bigger. Look at these readings." He displayed a map of space beyond Pluto. "There's an entire network of satellites and what appear to be weapons platforms surrounding our solar system. We're being contained." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "The Galactic Council never intended to welcome us," Samantha said finally. "They caged us." Director Winters stood up. "We need to keep this quiet for now. If this information is correct, we're facing a situation unlike anything in human history. I want a task force assembled immediately. Top scientists, military strategists, the best minds we have." Within weeks, a secret facility was established beneath the desert in Nevada. There, a team of 50 specialists began analyzing the data from the alien probe. Dr. Olivia Carter was called in to lead the xenobiology department, bringing with her the research she had continued even when others had given up. "The probe contains biological scans of Earth and its life forms," Olivia explained during one briefing. "Based on the data, I believe the aliens classified Earth as what they call a Deathworld, a planet with conditions so extreme that its native species are considered dangerous." "Dangerous?" asked General Richard Porter. "We were nothing but cooperative during their visit." "It's not about our behavior," Olivia said. "It's about our biology, our planet. Earth has higher gravity than most inhabited worlds, an oxygen-rich atmosphere that's corrosive to many species, extreme temperature variations and aggressive biodiversity, and we evolved to thrive in these conditions." She displayed images from the alien database. "Look at how they classified other species. Compared to the galactic average, humans are stronger, more durable, and have immune systems that would seem like superpowers to them." Kevin added, "According to the data, only 11 other species in the galaxy evolved on what they classify as death worlds. All of them were quarantined, just like us." "So they fear us," General Porter said. "They fear what we might become," Olivia corrected. "If we were to leave Earth and travel to other worlds with lower gravity, fewer pathogens, less extreme conditions, we would have significant physical advantages over many species." Samantha, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "The blockade isn't perfect. This probe malfunctioned and crashed. There might be other weaknesses we can exploit." Kevin nodded excitedly. "I've been analyzing the patrol patterns of their automated defense systems. They run on predictable algorithms. And look at this." He pulled up another screen of data. "Every 47 days, the entire network goes through a diagnostic cycle. During that time, there's a narrow corridor where coverage is minimal." "Could a ship get through?" asked General Porter. "A small one, maybe," Kevin replied. "With the right stealth technology and precise timing, it might be possible." Director Winters considered this information. "What we need is a plan," she said finally. "A way to breach their blockade, make contact with the wider galactic community, and negotiate for Earth's freedom. We're not going to accept being prisoners in our own solar system." As the meeting adjourned, Samantha pulled Olivia aside. "Do You think there might be other species out there who would help us? She asked. Olivia looked thoughtful. The probe data suggests the Council's decision wasn't unanimous. Some species voted against the quarantine. If we could make contact with them, then we might have allies, Samantha finished. For the first time since discovering the truth, they felt a spark of hope. Humans had never been good at accepting limitations. Now, with the stars themselves denied to them, they would do what humans had always done: find a way through, over, or around the obstacle. The Galactic Council was about to learn why Deathworld species were so dangerous after all. The underground facility in Nevada hummed with activity. 6 months had passed since the discovery of the alien probe on Mars. Inside a large workshop area, Chief Engineer Doug Patterson stood before a sleek spacecraft unlike any built before. Its dark hull seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "We call her the Pathfinder," Doug explained to the small group of officials touring the facility. He was a practical man in his 50s with calloused hands and a mind that could solve almost any mechanical problem. "She's built using what we learned from the alien technology. Smaller than our usual vessels, but faster and, most importantly, much harder to detect." Director Winters nodded approvingly. "And you believe this ship can slip past the alien blockade? If we time it right," Doug replied. "We've incorporated materials that absorb scanner waves rather than bouncing them back, and we've designed the engine emissions to mimic natural space radiation. Unless they're looking directly at us with visual sensors, we should appear as nothing more than background noise." In another section of the facility, Ambassador Susan Foster was having a very unusual meeting. The room was specially prepared, gravity reduced to 60% of Earth normal, temperature lowered, and lighting dimmed. Across from her sat a being that few humans had ever seen, an Arcturian. The alien was tall and slender with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. It called itself Trellnox. Susan had been surprised to learn that not all alien species agreed with the Galactic Council's decision to quarantine Earth. "We have monitored your progress for many years," Trellnox said through a translation device. "The Arcturian Alliance has always opposed the Council's policy of automatic quarantine for Deathworld species. We believe in judging civilizations by their actions, not their biology. Yet you never contacted us directly," Susan noted. She was a skilled diplomat who had been chosen for her ability to remain calm in extraordinary situations. "It was too risky," the alien replied. "The Council monitors all official interspecies contact, but now that you have discovered the truth, we can offer limited assistance." "What kind of assistance?" Susan asked. "Information, primarily. We can tell you which routes through your solar system are least monitored. We can provide details about Council technology that you may find useful. And should you manage to breach the blockade, we can offer sanctuary." "Why take this risk for us?" Trellnox's large eyes blinked slowly. "The galaxy is becoming stagnant under Council rule. Many of us believe that younger species bring fresh perspectives, new solutions. Your species in particular has shown remarkable adaptability and creative thinking. The very traits that frighten the Council intrigue us." As Susan continued her negotiations with the Arcturians, Kevin Martinez worked with Olivia Carter in the data lab, studying the patrol patterns of the blockade. "There it is again," Kevin said, pointing to a simulation on his screen. "Every 47 days, the entire network runs diagnostics. For exactly 22 minutes, this corridor," he traced a path on the display, "has minimal coverage." "And you're sure they haven't noticed their crashed probe is missing?" Olivia asked. "Positive. The probe was already malfunctioning when it crashed, so its absence from the network wasn't flagged as unusual. As far as we can tell, they think it just stopped reporting." In the training facility, pilot Jack Rivera practiced in a simulator designed to mimic the controls of the Pathfinder. Jack was younger than most pilots chosen for important missions, but his reflexes and intuition were exceptional. He had been flying experimental aircraft since he was 23. "Course adjustment complete," Jack reported as he navigated through a simulated asteroid field. "Stealth systems holding at optimal levels." His instructor nodded. "Good. Now let's see how you handle evasive maneuvers while maintaining stealth profile." The simulator suddenly blared with warnings as virtual alien patrol ships appeared on the radar. Jack's hands moved swiftly over the controls, guiding the simulated pathfinder behind a large asteroid, then using the asteroid's natural magnetic field to mask their presence. "Excellent," the instructor noted. "You're getting better at thinking in 3 dimensions." Later that day, the core team gathered for a mission briefing. Director Winters addressed the room. "We've made remarkable progress in a short time," she began. "Thanks to information from our Arcturian contacts and what we've learned from the alien probe, we now have a viable plan to breach the blockade." She turned to Doug Patterson. "The Pathfinder will be ready for launch in 3 weeks. Our window of opportunity will occur 12 days after that, when the blockade runs its next diagnostic cycle." "Who will be on the mission?" General Porter asked. "We've selected a crew of 6, Director Winters replied. "Jack Rivera will pilot the vessel. Dr. Olivia Carter will serve as our xenobiology expert. Doug Patterson will handle engineering and technical issues. Lisa Brown will be our communications specialist. Frank Nelson will be security officer, and Steve Walsh will serve as our diplomatic representative." "What exactly is their mission?" asked one of the military officials. 3 objectives, Director Winters said. "First, breach the blockade and prove it can be done. Second, make direct contact with sympathetic species like the Arcturians. And third, gather enough allies and information to negotiate for Earth's freedom, or if necessary, to find a way to break the blockade permanently." Unknown to the humans, their activities had not gone entirely unnoticed. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, an emergency session was being called. "We have detected unusual activity in the Sol system," reported a security officer to the assembled council members. "The humans are building new space vessels with advanced technological elements." Councillor Zax Trill rose from his seat. "This is precisely what I warned about. These Deathworlders are advancing faster than predicted. If they discover the quarantine and attempt to breach it—" "There is no evidence they know about the quarantine," interrupted another councillor. "Their space exploration is natural for a developing species." "We should not take chances," Zax Trill insisted. "I propose we strengthen the blockade immediately and consider more permanent containment measures." "You mean planetary sterilization?" asked a third councillor, sounding shocked. "That has not been done in 10,000 years. It violates our most sacred principles." "The humans violate our understanding of what is possible," Zax Trill replied. "They are too dangerous to allow into the wider galaxy." The council voted, narrowly rejecting Zax Trill's call for sterilization, but approving an increase in blockade strength. A battle fleet was dispatched to reinforce the automated defenses around the Sol system. Back on Earth, as the launch date approached, Jack Rivera sat alone in the Pathfinder's cockpit, running through pre-flight checks. Lisa Brown, the communications officer, joined him. "Nervous?" she asked. Jack smiled slightly. "A little. We're about to attempt something no human has ever done. Break through an alien blockade and enter interstellar space. Hard not to feel some pressure. If anyone can do it, it's you," Lisa said confidently. What neither of them knew was that the 22-minute window they were counting on was about to become much narrower, as alien reinforcements accelerated toward Earth. The humans' first venture beyond their prison was going to be even more dangerous than they had planned for. Launch day arrived with clear skies over the Nevada desert. Deep below ground, the Pathfinder sat ready in its launch bay. The official story released to the public was that NASA was testing a new satellite system. In reality, humanity was about to attempt its first breakout from cosmic imprisonment. The 6 crew members gathered for a final briefing. They wore sleek spacesuits designed for the mission, darker than standard issue and with built-in stealth technology. Commander Jack Rivera looked at his team with quiet confidence. "We've trained for every possible scenario," he said. "But we should expect the unexpected. Our mission is simple: get past the blockade, make contact with the Arcturians, and open diplomatic channels. We're not looking for a fight." Security Officer Frank Nelson checked his gear. Unlike the others, he carried defensive weapons. Let's hope they feel the same way, he said. Dr. Olivia Carter reviewed her data one last time. Remember, many species out there have never seen humans before. Our very biology might seem threatening to them. Move slowly, avoid sudden gestures. Communications specialist Lisa Brown adjusted her translator. The Arcturians provided basic language patterns for several major species. I should be able to establish basic communication, even without our Arcturian allies. Engineer Doug Patterson had dark circles under his eyes. He had worked through the night, making final adjustments to the ship. The stealth systems are operating at peak efficiency. As long as we stick to the flight plan, we should slip through undetected. Diplomat Steve Walsh was the least experienced with space travel, but the most skilled at negotiation. If we make it through, remember that we represent all of Earth. Every word, every action will shape how these species view humanity. Director Winters entered the room. It's time, she said simply. The crew boarded the Pathfinder. Each took their position at their designated station. Jack settled into the pilot's seat, his hands moving automatically over the controls. Nearby, Lisa established communications with Mission Control. Pathfinder to base, all systems check out. We are ready for launch, she reported. Base to Pathfinder, you are cleared for launch, came the reply. Window opens in T-15 minutes. Good luck. The launch bay doors above them slowly opened, revealing a narrow shaft leading up to the surface. The Pathfinder's engines hummed to life, quieter than any spacecraft humans had built before. Initiating vertical launch sequence, Jack announced. Stealth systems active. The Pathfinder rose smoothly through the shaft and emerged into the night sky. Once clear of the facility, Jack angled the ship upward, and the engines engaged at full power. The crew felt the pressure of acceleration push them back into their seats as Earth's gravity tried to hold them back. Breaking atmosphere in 3, 2, 1, Jack called out. The ship punched through the upper atmosphere and into space. The blue glow of Earth fell away behind them. Ahead lay the vast blackness, and somewhere beyond, an invisible line of alien defenses. Setting course for the calculated gap in the blockade, Jack said. Time to intercept 4 hours, 17 minutes. The journey to the edge of the solar system was tense, but uneventful. The crew checked and rechecked their systems. Doug monitored the stealth technology constantly, making tiny adjustments to keep their signature minimal. As they approached the location of the supposed gap, Lisa suddenly straightened in her seat. I'm picking up transmissions, she said. A lot of them. They're not in a language I recognize, but the patterns match what we'd expect from the blockade communication network. Olivia joined her at the communication station. Can you pinpoint the sources? Lisa worked the controls. All around us. Much more activity than we expected based on the probe data. Jack frowned. Doug, what do the sensors show? Doug studied his displays with growing concern. They've reinforced the blockade. I'm detecting at least 20 new platforms that weren't in our intelligence, and he paused. There are ships out there. Actual ships, not just automated platforms. The window? Jack asked. Doug shook his head. If it's still there, it's much smaller than we calculated. Maybe only a few minutes, instead of 22. Can we make it through? Frank asked. Jack considered their options. We stick to the plan, we go for the window. Lisa, how much time until the next diagnostic cycle? 38 minutes, she replied. Then we wait, Jack decided. Everyone. To alert status. Minimal power, minimal communications. We drift until the window opens, then we go through at maximum speed. The Pathfinder went dark, drifting through space like a piece of debris. Inside, the crew waited in tense silence. The ship's systems were reduced to bare minimum to avoid detection. Suddenly, alarm indicators lit up across Doug's panel. We've got a problem, he whispered urgently. Scanner beams sweeping the area. They're looking for something. Have they detected us? Jack asked. Not yet, but if those scanners hit us directly... The ship shuddered as a scanner beam passed nearby. They've changed the patterns, Lisa realized. The diagnostic cycle isn't following the schedule from the probe data. They know, Olivia said softly. They must have realized we found their probe. Jack made a quick decision. New plan. We can't wait for a window that might not come. Full power to engines, set course through the thinnest part of their line. Dug everything we've got to the stealth systems. The Pathfinder's engines roared to life. The ship leaped forward, accelerating rapidly toward the blockade. Ahead of them, space seemed empty, but their sensors showed the truth. A net of alien technology designed to keep humanity caged. Contact in 30 seconds, Doug reported. They've spotted us, Lisa shouted as warning indicators flared across her console. Multiple signals converging on our position. Jack's hands flew over the controls, pushing the ship into a series of evasive maneuvers. Frank, ready defensive measures. Doug, status of the stealth systems? Failing under this level of scrutiny, Doug replied grimly. They know exactly what to look for now. The first shots from the blockade streaked past the ship, energy weapons designed to disable rather than destroy. Shields holding, Doug reported, as one blast grazed them. But we can't take many direct hits. There. Jack pointed to a gap in their sensor display. That's our way through. He pushed the Pathfinder to its limits, the ship groaning under the strain. More shots came their way. One hit directly, sending sparks flying from a control panel. Damage to the secondary propulsion system, Doug called out. Primary still functioning. As they approached the gap, a new alert sounded. Multiple ships converging, Lisa warned. They're trying to cut us off. Just when the situation seemed hopeless, an unexpected message came through Lisa's communication system. The language was alien, but the translator provided by the Arcturians managed to decode it. Human vessel, this is Arcturian scout ship Stellar Wind. We have been monitoring. Follow our lead. Through the view screen, the crew watched in amazement as 3 ships shimmed into visibility nearby. Their design was elegant and flowing, unlike the angular council vessels pursuing them. They're engaging the blockade, Frank reported with surprise, creating a diversion. And they've sent us coordinates, Lisa added. A clear path through. Jack didn't hesitate. He adjusted their course to follow the Arcturian guidance. The Pathfinder shot through the gap created by their unexpected allies, sensors screaming as they passed directly between 2 blockade platforms. Then, suddenly, the alarm stopped. The weapons fire fell behind them. The ship emerged on the other side of the blockade. We're through, Jack said, his voice filled with disbelief. We actually made it through. As the reality of their achievement sank in, the crew exchanged looks of wonder and triumph. Humanity had taken its first step beyond its prison. For the first time in history, humans had escaped their solar system against the will of the galaxy's ruling powers. In the council chambers across the galaxy, alarms were already sounding. The impossible had happened. A Deathworld species had broken containment. The Pathfinder followed the Arcturian ships through unfamiliar star systems. Through the viewports, the crew saw wonders they had only dreamed of. Binary star systems with planets of colors not seen on Earth. Massive space stations that housed millions of beings and ships of all shapes and sizes traveling between worlds. It's beautiful, Lisa whispered as they passed a ringed planet with cities floating in its upper atmosphere. And we're the first humans to see it, Jack replied, his eyes wide with wonder despite his focus on piloting. After 3 days of travel, they reached Arcturus Prime, the home world of their allies. From orbit, the planet appeared as a swirl of blues and purples with sprawling cities that glittered like jewels. The Arcturians provided a special docking bay adapted to Earth normal conditions. As the crew prepared to disembark, Trelnock sent a message. The news of your escape has spread throughout the galaxy. The Council has called an emergency session. They are demanding your immediate return to Earth. What happens now? Steve asked, adjusting his diplomatic uniform. Now, Olivia said, we show the galaxy that humans aren't the monsters they think we are. The Arcturians welcomed them with cautious curiosity. Other alien species watched from a distance, some fearful, others intrigued by the Deathworlders who had done the impossible. Security was tight, not to protect the humans but to protect others from them. Over the next week, Steve and Olivia worked tirelessly, meeting with representatives from dozens of species. They shared Earth's culture, art, and science. Olivia demonstrated that while humans were physically resilient, they were not inherently aggressive. Steve established diplomatic relations with several minor powers who saw potential benefits in allying with Earth. Meanwhile, Doug worked with Arcturian engineers, sharing knowledge and learning about their technology. Lisa studied alien languages and communication systems. Frank assessed the military capabilities of various species, preparing defensive strategies in case negotiations failed. Jack found himself becoming something of a celebrity. Many aliens wanted to meet the human who had piloted a ship through the Council's blockade. He used this attention to advocate for Earth, telling stories of human exploration, cooperation, and peaceful intentions. 10 days after their arrival, a message came from the Council. The humans will be permitted to present their case before the full Galactic Council. Their appearance is required in 3 days. Safe passage is guaranteed. The crew debated this development. It could be a trap, Frank warned. Or it could be our only chance to change the quarantine policy, Steve countered. The Arcturians believe the offer is genuine, Lisa added. Many council members are curious about us now. Our escape has forced them to reconsider their assumptions. In the end, they decided to accept. The Pathfinder, repaired and upgraded with Arcturian help, set course for the Council's headquarters, an enormous space station at the center of the galactic community. As they approached, they saw hundreds of ships surrounding the station. News of the humans' appearance had drawn representatives from across the galaxy. Inside the council chamber, thousands of beings filled the viewing galleries. The 6 humans stood on a platform in the center, facing the council members seated, in a semicircle above them. Councilor Zaxtrill looked down at them with barely disguised hostility. "Humans of Earth," began the council president, a tall being with golden skin. "You stand before us accused of violating quarantine restrictions placed on your world for the safety of the galactic community. How do you plead?" Steve stepped forward. "We cannot plead guilty to violating restrictions we were never informed of," he replied calmly. "The Council quarantined our world without our knowledge or consent, denying us the stars that are the birthright of all sentient species." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The quarantine was established according to protocols for Deathworld species, Zaxtrill interjected. "Your biology alone makes you a threat." Olivia stepped forward. "Being physically resilient does not make us dangerous. Yes, we evolved on a world that challenged us, but those challenges taught us cooperation, innovation, and respect for life in all its forms. Your history is filled with warfare," another counselor noted. "Yes," Jack acknowledged. "We have fought among ourselves, what species hasn't? But we have also built peace, created art, explored our world and beyond out of curiosity, not conquest." The fact remains, Zaxtrill insisted, that humans on lower gravity worlds would have physical advantages that could be misused. "Then let us prove ourselves through actions, not assumptions," Lisa suggested. "Judge us by what we do, not what you fear we might do." The debate continued for hours. The humans presented evidence of Earth's achievements, their peaceful intentions, and the contributions they could make to the galactic community. The Arcturians spoke in their defense, as did representatives from several other species who had met with the humans during their stay. Finally, a junior counselor named Ventoril rose to speak. "I have studied the data on humans extensively," he said. "Yes, they are physically resilient. Yes, they evolved on a harsh world. But these Deathworlders use their first opportunity of freedom not to attack, but to speak, not to conquer, but to connect. Perhaps what we fear is not their physical strength, but the strength of their determination, their refusal to accept limitations." A hush fell over the chamber. "I propose," Ventoril continued, "that the quarantine be modified. Allow humans controlled access to the galaxy under observation. Let them prove through actions that they deserve full membership in our community." The vote was close, but in the end the proposal passed. Earth would remain restricted but not imprisoned. Human ships would be permitted to travel to designated systems, Human representatives would be allowed on the council station. A path forward had been created. As the humans prepared to return to Earth with the news, Counselor Zax Trill approached them privately. "You have won a small victory today," he said, "but know that many still fear what your kind represents. One wrong, move one aggressive act, and the quarantine will return, stricter than before." Steve met his gaze steadily. "We understand the responsibility we bear. We will prove your fears unfounded." "Perhaps," Zax Trill replied. "But remember this. You are not the first Deathworld species to stand where you stand now. The others, eventually, showed their true nature. Time will tell if humans are truly different." The journey back to Earth was filled with mixed emotions. Triumph at breaking free, concern about the conditions placed on them, and hope for the future. As they approached their home planet, blue and beautiful against the blackness of space, Jack reflected on how everything had changed. "We're not prisoners anymore," he said to Olivia as they gazed at Earth through the viewport. "We're pioneers." Olivia smiled. "The Galactic Council thought our Deathworld made us dangerous. They never understood that it made us strong, adaptable, and determined. Those are the qualities that got us through their blockade, and the qualities that will eventually earn us our place among the stars." As the Pathfinder descended toward Earth, carrying news that would forever change human history, signals were already being sent to every corner of the planet. The message was simple but profound. "We are not alone, and we are no longer caged. The stars await us." The crew knew that the path ahead would not be easy. Earning the galaxy's trust would take time. Some species would remain fearful, others hostile. But humans had always faced challenges and overcome them. Now they would do so on a galactic scale, proving with each step that the children of Earth deserved their place among the stars.